Today on Design Build Workshop, we're going to work on designing and printing 3D model buildings. So when I first started designing the HL scale building models, the one thing I discovered pretty quickly was that to get accurate surface detail in all the models, it didn't make any sense to reproduce these bricks over and over and over again, or other parts of the design. So what I did, I designed one big panel that was pretty much going to take up the whole print size of the 3D printer. So I could make, say like an 8x8 or I think it's 9x9 piece of brick wall, or at least model off of it. So you can see here, the bricks are all designed and set up in here. So what I would do is when I have to make a building like this, take a section of that brick wall, and then I would make these cutouts for the windows and basically model off of that piece. Because there are so many individual pieces, the memory that it takes for at least this software to maintain that part, as you're moving things around, is a lot. So you're better off actually making a panel like I'm doing, and then taking that panel and making a new part from that panel. So I already have all this detail in it, and all I have to do is add the windows and some of this other detail that I want to put in. All I got to do is pull the panel up, make some cuts and size adjustments, and I'm off and running, rather than having to redo or rebuild everything from scratch. We're going to go ahead and run through what I was talking about with the panel. So right now I took the overall panel and I'm making a square on the back side of it. We're going to go ahead and put measurements in. We're going to make this 2 inches by 4 inches. And then we're going to go ahead and cut away the rest of it. So that's going to leave us with this 2 by 4 inch brick wall. So after that, we already know the pre-size of the door openings and the window openings. So we're going to go ahead and put those in, give it a measurement. So this is for the door. And then once I get that in, we're going to go ahead and put all the windows in. I think we're going to put 2 in the bottom and 3 in the top. We're going to go ahead and give those measurements. And as soon as I get measurements for everything, we can go ahead and do an extrude cut, and we can cut out those openings. All right, so now I've got a wall with openings in it. I'm going to bring in a door frame. The door frame is the size that I just cut out of that wall. So we're going to go ahead and mate that to the opening for the door frame. And what I like about this is it's going to give it some more depth. So when I mate these 2 surfaces back here, now if you look from the front, that door protrudes a little bit out. So that just gives it a little more depth. Now we're going to go ahead and get our 5 windows put in. Now we've got to mate all of these windows from the front surface so that they're all on the same plane. Not that we have to, it just makes it easier to do all of them at one time. So all 3 of these are mated at the top. And then once I get the side mates done, and I can go ahead and bring them down to the window frame here, they're all going to come down at one time. And we'll go ahead and mate the back. So once again, we've got the windows protruding a little bit beyond the brick, just to give it some more detail. And there you go. You've got a panel that took hardly any time to make. So the other thing that is important with designing HO scale buildings is that you need a lot of detail. The more detail and surface texture variation you have, the more accurate or interesting the building's going to be. Here are some images of the fire station that I was using to design my model after. This is something I got off Pinterest, and that's where I do a lot of my searching for ideas and for designs. The other thing I'll do is I can go walk around the town I live in and find unique buildings, but there's a lot of unique stuff on Pinterest if you just look up, old industrial buildings, You can do a lot of different queries, but I've saved a lot of these images And like I said, details are what's really important in a lot of this work. And so I love the brick buildings, especially that have a lot of detail, a lot of depth to them, or unique in their shape. So these are always, I usually have most of these saved, and I like to add some of the details from each of these into designs that I like to, that I'd like to go ahead and try to produce. Really like this gate in front of this factory. The other thing we did is created interior beds, lockers. This was the shower area. Here are some of the painted details of the second floor of the fire station. So this is your bottom floor. This would be where the fire truck would pull in. And then over on this side, we've got the chief's office would be in this section. And then kind of the mess is on this section here. And then this piece right here, I've got a sticker on that would be where all the fire jackets and helmets and stuff like that are all hung right here. I really like this decal I was able to use representing the fireman's clothes hanging in the rack there. This is the painted version of, of that fire station. I'm pretty happy with the way it came out. I was a little bit off on one of my measurements when I was doing one of these walls, but that's already been adjusted so that everything is kind of the same now. You really can't see inside. It needs like a light kit to really kind of show off the inside. But these are the panels when they come out, and you can see, there's a lot of detail in this wall, and that's really what you want, because that's what's going to get, when you do the weathering, that's what's really going to catch everything and really kind of highlight, all the different textures and stuff you have on the building. The roof was interesting because I thought I would go ahead and design it so it has, all of the structure in the roof when I printed it. Not that you're really going to see it, but if you were able to look in from inside, you would see up in here all the beams, that are making up this roof. I just like designing things with detail. The more detail you have, the better off it's going to be, as far as I'm concerned. And it's just going to look a whole lot nicer. So once we get everything designed, it's time to send it to the printer. I just use a USB that I have for my computer when I design, and then I'll go ahead and just set up the program in the printer. This is my second Creality printer. The first one I had was the Ender 3, which I'm glad I had, because there was a lot of tweaking that had to happen with that. Working with the hot end and modifying things here and there, but it really helped me understand the printer quite a bit more. So this is a K1. It's my second printer, and it's vastly improved over the Ender 3. I've never had a failed print yet from this printer. It prints incredibly fast. It's really accurate. The detail I get out of it is really phenomenal. So I'm really happy with the way the whole thing came out. This is the roof section, and here we are printing one of the facade pieces. Like I said, detail's really important, and as you can see this printing, you'll see the bricks develop, you'll see some of the larger blocks be printed in, the depth of the windows, the window frames, all of that depth, or that difference in elevation in those pieces really provides detail for the building pieces. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time on Design Build Workshop.